So the muscle car circle of life continues here at V8TV. It seems like when we get one out the door, here comes another one, which is great because we like to save these things and keep them around. Our latest project is a '68 Camaro, and like all these cars, it's got an interesting story. The first time I actually saw this car was in about 1989. I was in high school, and the guy that owns it's a few years older than I am. And he said, yeah, I've got this '68 Camaro back at the house. It's a California car. It's pretty much rust-free. It's an SS. It's a big block car originally, 396. And, you know, I was a kid, and I thought he was, you know, only a couple years older than I was, so I thought he was full of crap. I didn't think the car existed. So he said, no, come on over and check it out. So we went to his parents' garage, and here it is, a blue '68 Camaro SS, partially disassembled. He had it up on jack stands at the time. The plans for the car back then were to go full-on Pro Street, you know, big clown tires in the back, a candy, like magenta, Blasberry, you know, Pro Street paint job. You know, at the time that was the cool thing to do if you had a car like this. But time progressed, and he and I kind of lost touch. And then very recently, within the past year, he found me again by watching the V8TV videos and sent me an email, and he said, hey, I still have that Camaro. If you're interested, maybe we could talk about you guys, you know, fixing it up. So I had the opportunity to go back and see the car again, and it was unbelievable to see that here was the car in the exact same position it was when he put it up on jack stands back in the late '80s. He never touched it since, which, I mean, I think was good for the car because it didn't get the trendy magenta paint scheme. And this time, it's going to be a really clean, classic-looking Camaro. And the goal, I guess the goal for all the cars we build here, is to make sure it looks good 20 years from now and it's not super trendy. It's going to kind of pay tribute to some of the hero muscle cars, the late '60s, you know, the Nicky, Yenko, or Motion cars. It's going to have a big block, lots of power. We're looking to do a 4L80E overdrive electronic transmission, some trick suspension parts. And the overall look is going to be silver with a kind of a dark charcoal SS stripe over the nose. It does have a few rust issues around the rear window channel. The vinyl top that it had held water, and that rusted that window channel. The driver door has been repaired, so it's got a bunch of Bondo worms inside. We'll probably reskin the door. The front lower cowl boxes on these cars are prone to holding leaves and stuff that fall off trees, and then that holds moisture, so those rusted from the inside out. And the passenger side quarter has a big rust hole behind the wheel opening and a new rust hole starting in front of the wheel opening, but it also had a bunch of bodywork and dents around that wheel opening area and in the front of the quarter. So we'll probably replace that whole quarter panel. Driver's side quarter looks good. The trunk floor looks solid. It's got some rusty texture to it. We'll determine if we're going to replace the whole floor or just fix that some other way. The interior floors are fabulous. I mean, the bottom of this car is spotless. And the firewall is very clean. It had kind of a homemade block-off plate for the heater, and somebody welded up the other heater vent hole. We're probably going to do a vintage air AC kit on this, so we'll address the firewall and clean all that stuff up. One thing that's an interesting story on this car is the hood. It had its original SS 396 hood, but there's a dent in the middle of the hood. And I remember the owner telling me about this, you know, 24 years ago, saying that the car had a flex fan, and while it was running, the flex fan broke, and it threw the fan blade up into the hood and dented the hood. We're gonna repair this hood and keep it with the car. We'll paint it to match the new paint scheme. But like I said, we're gonna run a Stinger hood to give it a little more aggressive look. So he'll have both of them, but all the original parts that, you know, are with this car, we're gonna keep with the car. So again, you'll see this car in full photos and video on our website at v8tvshow.com. We invite you to join the conversation on our V8TV forum. You'll find this car under the Project Cars section, under '68 Camaro Commotion, and you can check out the photos and add your own commentary and see how this thing progresses.